Morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Hope you can see me. I think I'm in the frame. Anyways, today's Saturday, September 16th, 2023, and it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I did an update, so I think we're due for another one. I'm up here on the flight deck of MV Sago. It's sheeting is up. The last sheet's just dry fit over the cockpit, and a bit more engineering to do before it's ready to be glued and glassed and all that other stuff. So anyways, I guess the last time you were here on the previous update, which will be a link at the end of the video, I had just gotten the first couple of sheets on the cabin top. The unibrow was dry fitted. A lot of fiddly bits with that. Made some mistakes when we put the first sheet down. It slipped back and we didn't notice, so I had to put a filler piece in. And Lori was busy finishing off the cherry panels that will go on the inside of the cabin. So since then, we've been busy. We're getting a lot done. Currently, Lori's down for the count with a bout of sciatica, so I've got her hooked up to the electrodes, and it seems to be helping a bit, but we're going to have to deal with that. So since then, these panels, 3 full panels, have been glued and screwed down, and the seams have been taped. I spent a fair amount of time on these to try and get them right, and they turned out okay. There's going to be a bit of fairing needed, but that's okay too. I'm used to that. You guys like to see me sanding, so I continued framing up the cockpit hardtop, and although it will support itself with the structure that's there now, it would be a no step zone. So I would imagine we're going to have to add some upright stainless steel uprights to support the hardtop. In between little jobs, I had glassed the underside of the cockpit side panels and installed those. Just another one of those little jobs that you put off and pick up sometime down the road. So just the other day, I added the third full sheet and glued and screwed it down, so that completely covers the main cabin and a portion of the cockpit. The unibrow took a little bit more fiddly farting around and still needs some trimming and stuff, but it's been glued and screwed and taped into place. One of the things, job that I'd never done before, was steam bending white oak, and the trailing edge piece on the cockpit has a fairly significant curve. It's the same curve profile as the rest of the cabin top, and I tried to steam bend it in place. Well, although the steaming setup I cobbled together worked fairly well, the actual process to steam it in place did not work. And anyways, long story short, tore that all apart, went down and laid out the curve and some blocks on the workbench in the tent and steamed it in place there. And we'll insert a few little pictures and videos here to show you how that went. It went really well. Once I did get it bent, I was able to put it up into place and finish off the framing of the hardtop. That became a little bit trickier because I wasn't quite sure exactly how all of the pieces and the outside trim and everything was going to fit, and it's going to require a lot of fiddly farting around and shaping in the corners so they're nice and radiused, same radiuses that appear on the rest of the boat. And I need to put in some heavy blocking within the framing to possibly mount the stainless steel support pipes to somewhere down the road. So anyways, that piece has been trimmed and fitted and glued and screwed into place, so the framing per se itself is finished. Once that's done, all those little fiddly bits figured out where it goes, I'll glue and screw the last piece and trim it to shape. And that's going to be, that was sort of my goal for this year, was to get this up. I wasn't sure if we would get it fiberglassed or not, but I've ordered more epoxy and some quick fare, and we're going to give it a shot. The Cockpit hard top will be just a little over 17.5 feet long. It's just about on average 8 feet wide, so that's going to take what do we say, 30. Anyway, it's going to take a lot of fiberglass and a lot of epoxy. So I may actually have to move my epoxy mixing station up here. If Lori's not back in the game by that point, I'll try and find a volunteer to mix epoxy while I roll it out. The idea is to start at the far end and work our way this way, and hopefully we can do it in a couple of hours. We'll use the big rollers and the big paint trays and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'll be able to peel ply it as I go. I'm thinking that I'm going to end up in a mess if I do that. So that kind of brings you up to date on where we are and where we're going and where we want to be at the end of this boat building season, which is probably another 5 or 6 weeks, and we'll be done in here. I can heat my little tent, and I want to work on building the helm console, and that's going to be cherry veneered. It's Baltic birch plywood with cherry veneer over top, so I've got to engineer all that. Again, I did it in cardboard last year, kind of give me an idea of spatial relationships and size, and have it do everything I wanted it to do. So we're going to work from there and move ahead. I'm at the point where I've got to map out where all the wiring goes within the ceiling of the main cabin and the cockpit, and I just bought some electrical conduit and fittings and all that kinds of stuff to start to get that all mapped out. I'll have to drill holes, but yeah, 5 or 6 weeks from now it won't be warm enough in here to do any more epoxy work. So the goal is to get this glassed and start to work on all those other little fiddly things. So there you have it. Should be back with at least one more update, maybe 2, before we call it quits for this season. For the most part, call it quits. And it's been a good year. Got a lot done. Lori certainly helped out a lot. As you saw when we were working together, things moved along fairly quickly because she's a taskmaster, so that's good. While I'm out here by myself, I had a tendency to just putter around, things like that. So I'd like to thank everybody for hanging in. I know these updates are sporadic and spread out, but it's certainly been, you know, a heap of worry off my shoulders being able to just leave the cameras down and get this stuff knocked out, because I'm not getting any younger, and this project is going on for far too long. Even though we only have a 6 or 7 month building season in this godforsaken country, this is year 12. This boat shed's been up for at least 15 years, and I hate it with a passion, but it's a necessary evil for now. But it'll be a big celebration the day it comes down. It will. So again, thanks for looking in. We hope you're all well. We hope your families are well, and we hope you're all happy. So for now, it's till we see you again from Rick and Lori on MV Sago. Cheers.